Welcome back to another edition of Baseball for Maniacs. The Phillies have won 6 straight. It is their longest win streak of the season. And it's just phenomenal to see, right? Because I've always said this throughout the entire season. I think this has been the most highs and lows of an entire baseball season I've ever watched. Because, in 22 and 23, you had the lows to start the year, but then they just went on a run. Obviously, didn't end in a World Series championship, but it was kind of the tale of two halves. Same with 24, you started off great and then you kind of floundered towards the end. 25, they were kind of consistent the entire year. They were awful to start this year. Then they were great. Then they had that skid in July where they got swept by the Marlins right before the deadline. And now they're playing their best baseball thanks to Iowa. But in totality, it's like this is what you want to be doing. You want to be playing your best baseball in August into September going into the playoffs. And there's one player that deserves a lot of credit for this, and he's been a polarizing figure in the city, and it's Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm, I wanted off this team at the trade deadline. I felt like with the way he was been playing, throwing his temper tantrums in the dugout again, it was time for a change. Looks like I was proven wrong. And I'm happy to be proven wrong in the sense of if you're on this team, I don't care what you've done. I don't really care. I just want you to produce. So when Alec Bohm moved to first base, it was clear they were going to keep him for the rest of the year. There's nothing I would want more than the stretch he's been on currently. And he's batting 365 with a what's his stats? So it's 365 and I think an OPS in the thousands, right? In the last 15 games. The Luis Ariz effect. Alec Bohm is never going to be productive as your 4 hitter. 5 hitters pushing a little bit. I always think Alec Bohm is your 6th or 7th hitter. He's elite, right? Because his bat to ball skills, he can turn over the lineup. But what he's been doing in that 5 hole just lengthens this lineup. And the first couple games when Luis Ariz was here, Ariz would get a single and Alec Bohm would ground into a double play. Now he's driving the ball gap to gap. He's not putting the ball over the fence, even though he's had a few homers. But if he can do that, that just changes this lineup completely. And then the move to first base, he was a little shaky the first few games, but he's not terrible, right? And if he's giving you that offensive production in the sense of what he's been doing the last 15 games since Ariz has come here, I don't really care if you're not the best at defense because Bryce Harper, who moved to right field, he wasn't that great at defense this year. I think he graded out as the worst defensive first baseman in baseball due to the metrics. Do you believe in the metrics? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. This lineup is a good lineup now. Like, I think they are the best lineup in Major League Baseball in the month of August. And you got your Schwarbers, you got your Harpers. Turner's kind of been in a cold streak. We'll see with him. He's always a curveball. Luis Ariz has changed everything in the sense of what he does for Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is taking his walks, and that is when Bryce Harper's at his absolute best. Taking what the pitcher's giving him. If they're not going to pitch to you, just take the walk. You have a bat-to-ball guy in the sense of Luis Ariz to where you can have him driving the runs. I think when you had Alec Bohm behind Bryce Harper is trying to do too much. Similar when he had Nick Castellanos behind him towards the end of 2024. Now he can trust his teammates, and that just changes the entire lineup because that top 5 is pretty deadly. And then you got Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott is a superstar. And if you don't believe me, just look at the stats. People lie, numbers don't. Since May 1st, he is 2nd in the National League in WAR. Pico Armstrong obviously is number 1. He's having a crazy season. He's my MVP. Bryson Stott is just a phenomenal baseball player. And when he moved to third base, I'm like, oh, he'll be fine. Bryson Stott, you could put anywhere in the infield. Hell, you could probably put him in center field. He's a Gold Glover. I didn't think we'd get this level of defense. He's one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball, and he's doing what kind of Ariz is doing in the sense of he's just taking what the pitcher's giving him. Wherever the ball's pitched, he's going to hit it. If it's down the line the opposite way, if it's in his wheelhouse, he's going to put the ball over the fence. So Bryson Stott, he's always been one of my favorite players because his defense is so valuable to where if he can just give you league average production from the offensive side, you got a damn good ball player. He's doing so much more than that. He has an OPS over 800 since May 1st. Bryson Stott's a phenomenal baseball player. But that just goes into the sense of like this team's makeup for the majority of the year is starting pitching. You have a chance with Luzardo, Sanchez, Wheeler. That's your strength of your team. So the offense, just give us 2 or 3 runs. If this offense can give you this level of production, now it is a tall task to ask for them to do this in the postseason. Obviously, they're going to face better pitching, but if they can give you 4 runs in a postseason game, you're good. Like you're genuinely good. And this is where this is all coming together now. Are they going to win the World Series? I don't know. The Dodgers are still the favorite, even though their owner is a fraud. We'll get into that in a whole separate episode. But they have a chance to win the World Series. And let's get into the starting pitching, because I think it's funny, because you always talk about the two-headed horses of Sanchez and Wheeler. They haven't been their best. Sanchez is kind of turning around, but there's something off, right? I don't know if it's dead arm, but his location's not there. He's still giving you good production, 5, 6 innings. You're going to need them to go 7 in the postseason. But if Sanchez is giving you this now, and if it's a dead arm period, and he locks in for October, and he's the Sanchez that he was during the scoreless streak, you got an ace. Zach Wheeler, I'm never going to be worried about Zach Wheeler in the postseason ever. Has he struggled recently? Yes. His command seems off, but I'd rather that happen now than October. Because Zach Wheeler's the type of guy to just be like, F it. Like, I'm good. Like, bright lights, red October, give me the ball, I'm going 7 shutty. Those two. And then Jesus Luzardo, who has been the best pitcher in this rotation the last 2 to 3 months. Jesus Luzardo is an ace on 90% of the teams in Major League Baseball. And that's where it is. That is the team. Those three-headed horses. And then, forgot to mention, Aaron freaking Nola. What are we like? Genuinely, this guy has turned back into 2018 Nola's his last 8 starts. He has a 2.91 ERA. He's living down in the zone, but what he's also doing is he's not afraid to attack with his fastball. His fastball is sitting 93, 94. His curveball has always been effective, right? But if his fastball's not working, he can't locate that curveball like he needs to do, because he doesn't have another pitch that can kind of change the eye level of the hitter. If he's locating his fastball up, that curveball is going to be so much more harder to hit. And you saw that in Miami. You saw that in the last few starts. He's a real number 4. And if you got those 4 going into the postseason, because you're most likely going to need all 4, right? Even if we catch the Braves, I still think it's going to be a third. You'll still have to play in the wild card series. So you got those 3 going. If it goes 3, you got those 2. But Aaron Nola, regardless, is going to start a playoff game. I'm fine with that. 4 or 5 innings. We went from, is Nola going to be DFA'd in a couple of years because he's just unpitchable, or is he going to have a phantom IL till he's one of the best 4s in baseball? Now, is that going to translate the rest of the year? I don't know. But it's showing the makeup of this team. They can beat anybody. Now, if they get into a wild card series with the Dodgers or face them in any other round, are the Dodgers going to be the favorite? Sure. Are the Milwaukee Brewers going to be the favorite? Slightly, but it's October baseball. Like, this team in like June and July, it was like, yeah, I mean, you could always like bank on the randomness of baseball in the sense of anything can happen in October, but we kind of knew like the shot of us winning a World Series was completely out the window. If this team plays like this in October, there is a real chance to win a World Series. And another point, another hitter I forgot to mention, Justin Crawford. Justin Crawford is batting .341 in his last 15 games and is batting .270 on the year. If you would have told me Justin Crawford is going to be a .270 hitter, I'll take that any day of the week. And you want to look at the OPS? I don't care about that, because his speed, the way he changes the game, he needs to steal a little bit more bases. He needs to be better at that. But this is his first year in Major League Baseball. Like, 270 is not bad at all. And he's your 9 hitter. He's your 9 hitter, to where it's like, I don't care if his OPS is low because it's only singles, but if he's getting on base for the Schwarbers, the Turners, the Harpers, this lineup is actually good. The only black hole is probably JT, and maybe he gets hot in the playoffs. Brandon Marsh has struggled mightily since the All-Star game, but I think he'll eventually come out of it, because starting the year with Brandon Marsh, it was like he hasn't had that prolonged cold streak. Well, it's here now. Hopefully, by October, he gets out of it. Now, that's wishful thinking in the sense of everyone clicking at the right time, but the formula's there to where it's like, I'm not calling the Phillies the favorites, but they have a damn good chance to win a World Series. And I firmly believe no one in the National League wants to face the Phillies in the playoff series. Just with that pitching and then where this offense is and the mojo, they don't want to face them. They'd much rather face a Milwaukee Brewers team, an Atlanta Braves team that's scuffling. The Cubs, I respect them a lot. I think they're a damn good team. If you ask the Dodgers who they'd rather face, the Cubs or the Phillies, they're going to say the Cubs. So that'll do it for this episode of Baseball for Maniacs. We got a 3-game set with the Cardinals. You got to put the pedal to the metal. Take 2 out of 3 minimum. Go sweep. Go crazy. Go secure your playoff spot, and let's go win a World Series. That'll do it for this episode of Baseball for Maniacs. And as always, go Phils.